but you don't sit there and spend quality time with your kids. You say, here's food, and leave.
I mean, the tablet works just fine. They can just eat and watch the tablet. Like, why is that a problem?
This is obviously not directed towards every single millennial parent, but a lot of your guys' kids are displaying the exact same behavior as each other. So obviously, there's some sort of collective mistake that's been made here. And I think we all know what it is. So for a couple of days now, there's a video that's been going viral all over TikTok of a self-proclaimed iPad parent who was making fun of people in her video that didn't like her parenting style.
We're iPad parents. If you try to give us some kind of advice and you don't have kids, we're not gonna listen to you.
Okay, so firstly, right off the bat, you say that you're not gonna take advice from somebody who doesn't have children. But I already know that even if another parent with children gave you advice, you wouldn't take it. So what was the point in saying it? But secondly, yeah, babe, we can kind of tell that you're not listening to any advice from anybody. Like, it's pretty obvious that you're letting the iPad be the parent. You're letting the iPad do the raising, not you. Because there was a TikTok that got a lot of mixed reactions, understandably so, of this kid who had too much energy before bedtime. So instead of reading to the child, instead of playing with the child, this parent tells his child that if he runs with this cord attached around his body, it will charge his iPad. And it's disturbing to see how fast this kid is running because he knows it's charging his iPad.
No, otherwise you get bad.
Now, you may think this clip is funny, and obviously it can be, but you have to think to yourself, would this kid run this fast and try to burn this much energy for anything else? If the iPad wasn't the motivator, would he be running that fast? So the only reason he was willing to do this right before bed is because he knew in the morning that it would be fully charged. And then in the exact same video, this creator tried to be smart and pull a gotcha moment on everybody by saying, we know you haven't been able to eat without an iPad since 2010, babe. So you're a hypocrite. Okay. Firstly, yes, the iPhone was created in 2007, but do you know how many people could afford to buy that? No one! I remember in 2010, my mum still owned a BlackBerry. She didn't have an iPhone, and the extent of what you could do on these phones was not much. You couldn't scroll on a TikTok. You couldn't watch videos on a YouTube. Nobody was using a mobile phone at the dinner table back then. But secondly, there's a difference between raising a child on technology and raising a child without technology and only introducing the technology later on in life. How do you not understand that? Because back in 2010, my parents were in their 30s. So they had gone 30 years without using a device, without using a phone or an iPad. They were fully grown, developed adults. So even if they were scrolling on an iPhone during their mealtime, their frontal lobe was already completely formed. So it wouldn't have mattered. And I know I keep harping on about this, but do you know how many Gen Xers, how many millennials, how many people from Gen Z still eat meals without a phone? That's literally a rule in my house. And do you know what? It's the easiest thing in the world. None of us care. Nobody from previous generations has a problem with putting technology down. It's Gen Alpha that have a problem putting the phone down. So again, what is your point? There's a difference because these grandparents can put their phone down during a mealtime because they weren't raised on technology. But this Gen Alpha kid can't put the iPad down and actually have a conversation with these family members that won't be around much longer because that's what she was raised on. And it's the same thing with this grandmother and her grandson. And this is a literal epidemic. This is happening all over the world. And then she posted a follow-up video that's just as, if not more, ridiculous. Yes, sometimes I let my kid use an iPad in a restaurant so he doesn't bother the other diners. I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, of course you don't think it's a problem, because as long as he's shutting up, you don't care. And it seems like every millennial parent is doing this now. Because here's a video of a mother who's at the Cheesecake Factory with her 3 children, and all 3 of these children are just sitting on their devices, not talking to each other, not talking to their mother.
That was last week. Let's move on. Chapter 2. Can we please do that?
But I have 2 things to say about this as to why this is a problem. Firstly, you're not parenting. What are you teaching them by saying, oh my god, you're being so loud and annoying right now, here, just have the iPad. The only thing that they're being told is, okay, if I act up, I'll get my iPad. And if it's taken away, I'll act up again. What do you think that's accomplishing? But secondly, are you even attempting to try and solve the issue instead of just throwing an iPad directly at him? Have you tried saying, if you don't stop acting up, I won't let you have the iPad time? Have you tried that? Because that might help. I don't know about you guys, but the way I was raised is I don't get something I want if I act up, if I'm bad. I get the thing that I want and I get rewarded for having good behavior. That's usually what most parents do. And millennials genuinely think raising their kids this way is something to be proud of. They really think it's an achievement that the kids are acting up this way.
I don't condone bullying of any kind, but personally I find the war between generations to be quite fun. Baby, bless your heart. You see, the thing is millennials are raising Gen Alpha, and we did not come to play. They're gonna be ruthless.
Hi, ma'am. How are you today?
You can back up a little bit.
Oh,
Why are you proud that your generation of kids can't even sit and get a 10-minute haircut without their parent holding a phone directly in front of their face and scrolling through TikTok?
So like 2 weeks ago, I went to my hair salon where I get my haircuts, and while I was waiting to get my haircut, I see this mother and her child. The kid is getting a haircut, and then the mom is standing in front of him holding her phone, vertical-wise, towards him. At first, I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I didn't really acknowledge it, but I take a closer look, and she's playing a YouTube short to the kid, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty shocking. And the mom looks pissed, she is totally out of it. And then I see her scroll once the video's done, and then she continues doing that the entire haircut. The kid does not look once to see how his haircut's looking in the mirror. No, he's looking straight at this YouTube Shorts feed that he's just watching. Every 30 to 60 seconds, she just swipes. And what's even crazier is after his haircut was done, he didn't even check to see it in the mirror. He grabbed his mom's phone, sat down, and kept watching YouTube Shorts.
Why can't we let them be bored for 10 minutes? Why should Gen Z be scared of Gen Alpha when these kids are getting taken to hockey games but won't even watch the hockey game because they're too busy playing a game of hockey on the iPad instead of watching the hockey in real life? So, I've said it a couple times, but I'm a really big WWE fan, and I'm going to Elimination Chamber in Perth on the 24th of February this year. That's like if I took my Xbox with me to the stadium and I started playing WWE 2K24 as the actual wrestling matches were happening in real life right in front of me. Like, why would you play the game of the sport that you're currently watching in person? But that kid wasn't the only one either, because here's this girl who's literally in virtual reality while she's sitting at a football game. How are you gonna say that you're raising a ruthless generation when they won't pay attention to a goddamn thing that's happening around them if they've got their device? You're raising a zombie. How are you raising a ruthless generation of children when they can't even be bored in the car anymore? And if they are bored in the car, they can't look out the window and play I Spy. Instead of doing all that, they'll just simulate themselves using a phone when the phone isn't really there. But that's supposed to be ruthless, am I right? Like, please tell me, why exactly should Gen Z be threatened by this? Because unlike a kid from Gen Alpha, if I'm watching a TV show, I can actually put my phone down. If I'm watching a movie with my mum, I don't feel the need to go on my phone. I mean, isn't it hilarious how millennial parents are like, our kids are gonna be ruthless. You won't be able to deal with them, when they themselves don't even want to deal with the damn kids. Because there are so many of you guys out there who are looking to buy your kids, your 1-year-old children, iPads. Cause why? Why do you want to buy your 1-year-old an iPad? This would be her first iPad, but she had 3 tablets. Currently on the 3rd one right now because the other 2 broke. But yeah, mums, what do you guys think? Your daughter is 1 year of age and she has already had 3 tablets. Did you even attempt to parent? Or as soon as your daughter was born, like right out of the womb as a newborn, did you go, oh hey, here's an iPad for your birthday? Cause hey, it's the day of your birth, right? You deserve it. And I know I spoke about this TikTok in one of my previous videos, but it literally just proves my point that millennials just want to throw technology at their kids as soon as they possibly can so they don't have to raise them. And they genuinely do not see the problem. At least most of them don't. Okay, hear me out. Those kids in the restaurants with iPads are way more well behaved than the kids without one. I would know. I work in hospitality. Courtney, oh, you sweet soul, bless your heart. Do you want to know why you perceive these iPad kids to be more well behaved than the kids without an iPad? Because of the iPad. The world disappears when they're on the iPad. They don't care about their surroundings and they don't care about the people that are around them. Because as long as they have the iPad, that's all that matters. You perceive them to be better behaved than the kids without the iPad because the kids without the iPad are trying to cause as much noise and as many problems as possible so that they can have the iPad. Are you serious? It's gone so bad to the point where there are people out here who are saying that millennials are doing a worse job at parenting and raising children than the boomers ever did.
My most controversial take is that I think that millennials are worse parents than boomers. These days you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go to a nail salon, you can't even go to a damn library without hearing the muffled sound of cocoa melon blasting through sticky residue.
I don't know. I just think that when you have Gen Z, who is literally the younger generation than millennials, saying that they're never going to give their kids in the future an iPad or an iPhone, there's a problem there. Because we're already being smarter parents than you guys and we don't even have the kids. Mic drop! But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Mwah! I love you all so much and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!